Hey everyone, welcome to another round of Canje Plays, and today we are going to start or try to continue my Zero to Hero series on Marvel Champions. I really enjoy this game. This is the one LCG that I did keep. I did cull Arkham Horror only because I play it with Kate and Cynthia, so I won't, be playing it without them. And Lord of the Rings kind of passed me by in terms of Earthborn Rangers took that spot, and I never got a chance to play it. Not saying it's not good, just I think I got into it a little bit later. So Marvel Champions actually scratched that itch. I'm huge into a lot of the Marvel games, Marvel United, Marvel Champions, Marvel Legendary. So there's a theme that I'm really digging the Marvel brand of this game, and hopefully this continues to play. Anyway, today we're going to get into our next playthrough of Mutants, which is going to be Rogue and Gambit versus Master Mold. So if you've watched the X-Men 97 cartoon, you kind of know what this is all about, right? It might be a little bit too soon, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so before I begin, I just want to say thanks to my patrons, YouTube subscribers, and if you're neither just coming in to hang out, thank you, and let's go ahead and get into our playthrough. Our starting character is going to be a Rogue. Her alter ego side is Anna Marie. She has 3 health recovery, her alter ego. She's a mutant keyword setup. Set your touched upgrade aside out of play. We'll show that in a bit. And withdrawn, forced response. After you change this form, sets touched aside. So if it's on something, it leaves whatever it's on, basically. When she starts hand size 6 and health points of 11. When we flip her over, though, she becomes the mighty awesome bombshell rogue. So to thwart, to attack, to defense, X-Men keyword, and she's got skin contact, action, attach touched to another character. You gain each of the attached character's traits until the end of the round, limit once per round, and force response after the player phase begins, find touch and set it aside. So basically it's getting used every round, so we can see. Let's check out what that card looks like. The touch card, which is this one that she has, if touch is attached to, and you can attach it to anyone as an action, a minion, a villain, an ally, or a hero. If touch is attached to a minion, rogue attacks gains overkill, and overkill basically means that any damage that goes over killing goes to the next character that's in the line to be targeted towards the villain. So if it's attached to the villain, I gain retaliate, which means someone hits me, I get to hit them back. If I attach it to an ally, I gain the aerial trait, so I start flying. And if I attach it to another hero, I gain Stalwart, and Stalwart means that I cannot be confused or stunned. For this Rogue build, I'm going to be using Rogue's deck that comes with her, and that's what I plan to do throughout this entire series, is not do any deck building, but use the decks that came with the game to see how they play out. So I'll be using Rogue's deck that comes pre-built that you'll see here with all the cards listed below. So you'll get a sense of what we'll be playing with today. Our next hero is going to be Gambit, or his alter ego, Remy LeBeau. 3 recovery, mutant thief, thief extraordinaire. As an action to thwart, exhaust Remy, look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, discard one of those cards, remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card, but it does cost an exhaust. That doesn't mean we can't flip the hero side, but we can't do any of the things on the hero side when it's exhausted. It's still a pretty strong ability. When he has a hand size of 6 and a health of 9, but when he flips, he turns into the Raging Cajun Gambit. 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 defense. So he has the charge the card action. Place 1 charge counter here, limit once per round. And the throw the card, interrupt. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. That event deals +1 damage for each counter removed, so you get to build up that attack. The villain we'll be going up against is Master Mold. So I'll be playing with the 1-2 side because, 3 is expert mode, and remember, we're still 0, we're not hero yet, so we'll still be going on the regular play. 1 scheme to attack, but that scheme has a special ability. So forced interrupt. When Master Mold schemes against you, discard cards from the encounter deck until a Sentinel minion is discarded. Put that minion in the play, engage with you. Do not give Master Mold a boost card for this activation. So basically he'll scheme for 1 and a Sentinel is going to come out and just get in your face. While he is out at the beginning, he has Stalwart, which remember you can't be confused or stunned, and a toughness token that'll be built on there. So That lovely toughness token says the next time this character would take any amount of damage, discard the status card instead. So that is Master Mold that we're going to be taking on. Master Mold is going to have 12 per hero. Since we're playing with 2 heroes, that's going to be 24. We'll be going up against Master Mold's the Sentinel Factory. So this is the main scheme. So Master Mold 1 and 2. And then Master Mold will be using the deck's Master Mold, Sentinels, and Standard sets, and one modular set, Zero Tolerance, that's going to be built in there. During setup, the Magneto ally put the Magneto ally into play under the first player's control. The first player I chose to be Rogue for ample reasons, once again, if you've watched the show. So that's going to build that out. And here he is. So Eric is there. He's got 2 thwart, 3 attack, 5 health, and the first player, so basically the first player controls Magneto, does not count against your ally limit. So as a response, after Magneto attacks and defeats a Sentinel minion, heal 1 damage for Magneto. So as long as we keep beating Sentinels, it gets really tough, and it's pretty fantastic to use. So I'm very excited to use that, although it's going on Rogue, which, like I said, if you've watched the show, you know what I'm talking about. So here is our main scheme. It's going to be 12 threat on here to advance the Sentinel Factory. So each Sentinel minion gains guard. And guard means we can't attack the villain until if a Sentinel is in our threat area. So when revealed, each player discards cards from the encounter deck until they discard a Sentinel minion, then puts it into play, engaged with them. This will start with 2 threat, and it'll get 2 every single round. So with that in mind, when this comes in, remember it's going to have 2 threat on it, so it'll put there. And as this game is beginning, we will shuffle this deck just to let you know there's no shenanigans here when we play this game, right? So we'll just shuffle this up, shuffle, shuffle, and then we'll find some Sentinels. There are some really tough Sentinels in here if we're not careful. So let's go ahead and start discarding and determine who they are. So not a Sentinel. We keep going. Oh, that's the worst one. And we keep going for Remy. 2 of the worst ones come out. Let's take a look at the horrible ones that we have to deal with. These are the worst Sentinels to fight. They're the Mark 8s. 3 scheme, 3 attack, 8 health. Forced response. After this minion engages you, attach the topmost Sentinel attachment from the discard pile to this minion. And the topmost Sentinel attachment is going to be what we just discarded, which was the Stun Beam. Attach the Sentinel minion without a Stun Beam attached, otherwise it gains Surge. Force response. After attached minion attacks and damages a character, stun that character. And it gets +1 to its attack, so now its attack is a 4. Oof, that is pretty rough. So that was the only one in the discard pile, so the next one won't get it, but that is just straight awful. And we have the board set up for us to play, so how it's going to start. Remember, we're going to shuffle and potentially mulligan some cards if we don't see anything that looks good for us. So let's go ahead and just kind of give this a quick little shuffle and draw out our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And let's take a look at the 6 cards in our hand. Rogue's cards are going to be Superpower Adaptation. So event 0, hero action. If touched is attached to a friendly character, search its owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as this character, identity specific, aspect, or basic, and add that event to your hand, which is pretty cool. Our next card is Energy, which is pretty good. We've got Southern Cross, so hero action attack, deal 6 damage to an enemy. If Rogue has the Aerial trait, add 2 more. So that's the 8 damage if she can get Aerial going, which actually isn't too bad for defeating some of those Sentinels. We've got Moira McTaggart, play only if you have the identity of mutant. After a mutant alter ego changes into hero form, exhaust Moira McTaggart. The hero controller that hero's controller draws a free card. So that's a nice support. We've got Bulletproof Bell. Hero interrupt defense. When an enemy with touched attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and gain a tough status token. And then we've got Karma. Response. After you play Karma from your hand, choose a non-elite minion. While Karma is in play, take control of that minion and treat it as a controlled ally with a blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 2 consequential damage after it thwarts or attacks. That is an amazing card for that massive, nasty, ugly, no good Sentinel Mark 8 that's on us. I actually like that a lot. Well, yeah, so that'll work. That'll work really well. All right, so I am not going to, because I want Karma out early, I'm not going to discard any of my hand from Rogue. We're just going to keep the hand that we're played because I've got a plan. I've got two parts of a plan. So for Remy, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw those 6 cards. I've got a plan. So, and it could be really, really good, or it could be awful. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we're gonna just shuffle up Remy's deck, and we're gonna draw our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and then let's take a look at what these cards are. All right, Gambit's cards are going to be operative skill. Use 3 operative counters, max 1 per player. So interrupt. When you thwart, remove 1 operative counter from here. That thwart removes an additional. We've got mutant education. We've got natural agility, so defense. When you defend against an attack, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +2 defense for that attack. We've got another operative skill. We've got Gambit's guild armor. So hero response, after Gambit defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust Gambit's guild armor to ready Gambit, which is pretty good. And we've got a breaking and entering, which play only if your identity has the spy or thief trait. Thwart as an action, remove 3 threat from a scheme. So not bad, not bad. Alright, so with Gambit, I'm going to keep his guild armor, the natural agility, and one of the operative skills. And I'm going to mulligan 3 cards, and when you mulligan, you just discard them and redraw the next 3. So let's take a look at what these next 3 are that we just grabbed. We've got another natural agility, so basically another defense to block. We've got hit and run, so hero action, act, attack, and thwart. Deal 2 damage to an enemy and remove 2 threat from a scheme. Not bad. And then we've got passion for justice. So interrupt. When you spend this card to play a thwart event, that event removes 1 additional threat. So this could work in our favor with operative skills to see how we can play it. All right, this is going to be our starting hand as we dive into this game. So, this ought to be fun. This ought to be fun. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Rogue is going to be our starting player. She has this starting first player token. So let's see how we're going to play this out. All right, so the first thing we're going to do on our playthrough here is we're going to get Karma out. She costs 4 to play. Well, we've got energy for 2. We'll throw in Southern Cross, and we'll throw in Moira McTaggart for 4. So that's the 4 that we're going to pay. It's going to go, Karma will come out, and when Karma comes into play, you become a friend. Hello, friend. And all the boxes are blank. So it says, while Karma's in play, take control of the minion and treat it as controlled ally with a blank text box. So this box is blank. However, I don't believe this is, because this is an attachment on this lovely one, giving it a +1. So to me, the attack is still 4, which I think is fantastic. Because now that you are my friend, I am going to add touched, and I'm going to, as an action, wait, this is out. I got to switch first. I'm going to go rogue status. So rogue status there. And then I am going to attach touched to the villain, because when the villain attacks me, I get fun with that. All right, so then let's go ahead and we're going to tilt you to attack that sentinel for 4. You will take 2 consequential damage. Let's see. We will then have Rogue attack the Sentinel for 2. So I'll put you at 6. And then finally, Magneto will attack the Sentinel, killing it. Thank goodness. Magneto would take a consequential damage, but remember, when he defeats a Sentinel, he heals himself once, so he doesn't take any damage. And we'll hang on to Bulletproof Bell, because I want that tough status token for what you're about to do. And we have the means to pay for it, so we're going to hang out right there and be good. That ought to be good. Actually, we get to redraw cards before they attack. I could do this. I could do touch to put this card in my hand if... And you have Mutant Education, which is a free event, but it's an alter ego action, so... Not yet. Not yet. We're going to hang on to that and say that that is the end of Rogue's turn. We're then going to come over to Gambit and deal with what Gambit's turn is going to be. All right, on Gambit's turn, we are going to flip to Gambit's side. we are going to use his action to gain a charge. We are then going to spend hit and run. We're going to spend that to put down Gambit's guild armor. And then finally, we are going to... I think that's all we're going to do for Gambit's turn, because we're then going to just attack. Oops. We're then just going to attack you to get rid of your toughness status. Very simple first round. There's 10 billion other things you all would be like, oh, empty your hand, do all these other things, but I think I have a good idea of of the plan that I want to do. Could work, could be awful and fail horribly, but we'll find out. So after they do that and we're done with everything, we then ready all our heroes. Hello, my hero friend. We ready all of our heroes. And then we draw back up to our hand size, which is why you could empty out your hand size, but I want those cards for something else. So this time your hand size is 5, so 1, 2, 3. And then finally on here, I'm just going to get 1 card to make it 5. Let's take a look at the cards that we just picked up. For Rogue, we've got another Bulletproof Bell, which is pretty good. We've got Preemptive Strike, which is a defense. When a boost card's turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons, then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way, which is pretty good. And we've got Defensive Energy. Here and out, when you spend this to play a defense event, you get to draw a free card. So this is pretty good for what's coming up for Rogue. For Gambit, we're just going to get Charged Card. Hero action attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. For this attack, if Gambit's throw the card ability if Gambit's throw the card ability removed at least 1 counter, the attack counter gains ranged, which means no retaliate. 2 counters gain pierce, which means it cuts through tough status tokens. And 3 means overkill, which we've already explained kind of how that works. All right, so it is the villain's turn now. So first things first, threat is going to be 2 added, taking this to 4 of 12 that we have. And then the villain's going to attack. So the villain first is going to attack Rogue. Rogue is going to play Bulletproof Bell. I could do Preemptive Strike on it too, but no, it says cancel all damage. So Rogue's going to play Bulletproof Bell. She is going to use... Oh, I could use this because this is a defensive hero interrupt to pay for it. So she's going to use the defensive energy to do it. This is when you spend this card to play defense event, which is what this is. I get to draw a card, so I'll pay it. I get not today, but it says when an enemy with touched attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and gain a toughness status card. So you're coming in, we're going to attack me for 3, but no, you're not. So that's what happens for me. Then he is going to attack Gambit, and Gambit's going to play Natural Agility, defending. So Natural Agility, when you defend against that, place a charge on Gambit. And for each charge, I get +1 to defense. My defense is 3, so now my defense is 5 because I have 2 charges on there. So that's a 5er. So you're attacking for 2 plus 2, which is 4. I defend all damage. I don't take anything. That gets discarded. And because I didn't take any damage when I defended, I exhaust this to ready Gambit. Woohoo! This is looking good. Then finally, to end the round, we're going to deal with these encounter cards that come up for us to deal with. So let's take a look at Rogues and then Gambits. Rogues one is Operation Zero Tolerance. Forced, after an enemy attacks you and defeats an ally, place that ally face down under the scheme. If there are X face down cards under the scheme, the players lose the game. X is 3 more than the player count, so 5 total, and it's going to have 6 threat on it. Gambits is going to be, oh, come on, Relentless Robots as a side scheme. So each player engaged with a Sentinel minion cannot thwart this scheme. This has 6 on it as well, and it's going to give an extra boost card, an extra card every single time we got to take care of it. So this is going to be a tough, tough fight. All right, so at the end of this round, we will pass first player over to Gambit, and that is going to begin the new round. Touch comes back, and that is where we begin. So after the player phase begins, find Touch and set it aside where it's going to go. That is going to be the end of the first round and the beginning of this playthrough. So I hope you enjoyed what you've seen so far. I'm excited to go on this journey with you all. Until then, I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it.